We're diving back into another episode of Uncut Xcom 2 War of the Chosen. Today we're getting introduced to a soldier that was provided by THEAXEMOD Randy. Anastasiya Kovac has lived an interesting but difficult life. She was born to a caring mother and an alcoholic father, but unfortunately she didn't get to experience much of her mother's love. The 1999 bombing of Belgrade took her life. Her father died shortly after. However, there is some light in this story. At age 6, Kovac was adopted by two teachers. While living with them, she was homeschooled and developed a love for books and foreign languages. Several years later, Kovac moved out of her adoptive parents' house and planned on living a relatively normal and happy life. But her home country of Serbia was beginning to crumble and transform because of the devastation of the alien invasion and the dismantling of the government by Advent. She stayed as long as she could, but was eventually convinced by a family friend to travel to the United States. Along the way, Kovac was struck with hardship again. Her family friend was killed, but his memory lives on in her nickname, Randy. She would eventually make it to the United States, and once there, decided to devote her life to helping those who were displaced by the aliens. She's now a member of Xcom and is serving as a combat medic. Ah, delicious! What? I'm sorry. Okay, we got a supply raid mission, and clearly I'm very excited about it because I just said, "Aw, delicious," as soon as it popped up. So, without further ado, let's deal with it. Okay, folks, our squad composition for today is a Reaper, Skirmisher, Ranger, Grenadier, and Sharpshooter. Our Reaper still, unfortunately, is using a standard loadout with no bells and whistles, the Vector Rifle, and the Claymore. Next up, our Skirmisher, the Bullpup Rifle, the Ripjack Secondary, and a Battle Scanner. And the last time we saw her, we needed to give her a special, well, not a special ability, but a promotion, and I gave her 0 in. Subsequent shots on the same turn provide plus 10 critical chance. If it's the same target, they also provide plus 10 aim. So, that's going to synergize well with the Marauder ability. Standard shots are not turn ending, allowing for shooting then moving or shooting twice on a turn. Next up, Roland de Wolf, also known as Lucifer the Shaving Cream Man. He is bringing a shotgun, sword, and a nanofiber vest, and he's our ranger. And we have a new guy on the field, Jason the Ripper Hammett. We're going to get introduced to him soon. He's our grenadier. He's got blast padding and, of course, his grenade launcher. We're bringing a flashbang and a gas grenade because our frags are very quickly scaling out of effectiveness. We're actually a little bit behind as far as our technological development, and that is something we'll talk about when we get on the mission. And finally, our sharpshooter is Brian Arnold. He's got a sniper rifle, Shadowkeeper pistol, and tracer rounds. He also has a scope on his sniper rifle for a grand total of plus 25 aim, and that is a lot. So without further ado, let's go kill some aliens and get some supplies.
Advent forces are in the process of airlifting a number of supply crates out of this area, and we have an opportunity here to take a few for ourselves. Locate and mark the crates with transponders, and Firebrand will handle the rest.
Okay, so this is a variation on the standard supply raid mission. As Central just explained, we are going after supply crates. So what that means is instead of just not worrying about blowing up the different supplies that are scattered around the map, we have to actively find them and tag them, because the less supplies that we tag before we kill all the enemies, the less that we're going to actually get to take home with us. So we've got to be quick about how we move in this. We can't be nearly as passive as we are on a normal supply raid mission. And we also have to be a little bit wary of the Lost. Now, there is a little trick that I've learned for fighting against them, is that they never start a mission inside of a building. So you do get a pretty significant advantage by going inside the second floors of structures, because you're not going to find any Lost there. And if I'm remembering correctly, you're not going to find any Advent there either. So we can, with relative confidence, move around inside these buildings and not have to worry about anything. And so far, we haven't laid eyes on a single enemy. So things are going pretty well for us. Now, I gotta let you know, I'm amped up on caffeine right now. I had a very, very large Starbucks iced coffee. It is known as the Venti. So if it seems like I'm really hyper, that's because I am. So let's just move the rest of our soldiers into this forward position and see if we can find anything. It's a little quiet right now. All right, and we did get eyes on an Advent mech, and I didn't catch what was assisting him in that pod. So we're gonna move up and then throw out a battle scanner so we can get some better vision. I could just move Dragonova up to get the vision, but I don't want to accidentally step her near where the pod is. Okay, so it's a purifier and an Advent mech. Nothing too crazy. Man. With coffee, it is the greatest thing in the world as an adult living in New York City, because just traveling from point A to point B in New York City, it can wear you the hell out and just make you exhausted. But coffee, it makes it all so much better. It gives you a new breath of life, a new breath of energy. You know, because I bumped into a couple of rude people today. You ever have somebody just not hold the door for you for no other reason than they're a terrible person? That happened to me today, but I had my coffee already, so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give them the side eye. And you know what the side eye is when you look at somebody sideways, and then they know what they did. They know they messed up because you're looking at them sideways. That's what I did today, and I felt good because I had my coffee. I had my energy. All right, and we do... Oh, I totally forgot to mention there was a sit rep on this mission for Lost. So we don't necessarily want to use grenades because that will attract them to us. And we don't necessarily want to use our Claymore either. Or... Actually, I don't think anything explosive is going to be beneficial to us, because even if we use remote start, I imagine that's going to call the Lost. But you know what? I gotta be totally honest. This particular remote start is looking really juicy, especially considering we don't have the resources to shred off that armor efficiently on that mech. So we're gonna remote start this thing. The pods are not gonna activate because this is not gonna break our concealment. So we're gonna start this off with a very, very subtle, sneaky boom. Let's just shoot it. Oh. This is going to damage one of the crates. But you know what? I'm willing to do it.
Unless they leave us no choice, we should try to avoid damaging the crates if we want to bring home anything useful.
So yeah, obviously Central Officer Bradford is a little bit upset that we just blew up some crates. But you got to weigh the pros and the cons when you're doing something like this. You got to really think to yourself, all right, is it better to eliminate a target that is going to be a problem and lose a couple of supplies, or just leave them up, deal with them the traditional way, and potentially lose a soldier? And I'm willing to lose just a little bit of alloys and some Illyrium and all that stuff. It's totally an acceptable loss there. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I hate rudeness, but coffee and just when you have things around you that make you happy, or whatever you want to call it, it makes dealing with the shenanigans a little bit easier. So if I don't have my coffee and somebody's rude to me, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna be like, you know what? Should have held that damn door. I don't care if you're in a rush. Just be a human being. Have some common decency. Why are you being so disrespectful? I'll do that just to make myself feel good, because they probably don't care. People don't care. But it'll make me feel good that I said something to them. And we're throwing out the battle scanner, just going to reveal a couple of Lost on the map. Unfortunately, that is going to be our last scanner, so we're not going to... Unfortunately, we're not going to get to uncover any more of the map unless we do scouting. So that's what we're going to continue to do. And, of course, Dragonova going to make us even more aware of the Lost that we just uncovered. But you know, and that's the importance of trying to keep a little bit of positivity in your life. What am I, a self-help guru right now? This is ridiculous, but but it's true. It's true. You got to try and keep a little bit of positivity in your personal life at all times, because there are going to be those moments when negativity is going to come and slap you in the face. especially if you live in a city. Because like if you live in the Midwest, like or in a rural suburban area, then you got that small town vibe where everybody knows each other. So you don't want to be a dick to the guy that, you know, you're gonna see him every day when you go to the store. So you obviously don't want to be rude to that guy because he's making your breakfast every morning. But if you live in a city with a couple of million people, then who cares if you push somebody by accident? You don't need to say sorry to that asshole. It's just push him and who cares? And so there's definitely a lot more of that though in a big city versus in the suburbs. But it is what it is. So we're not seeing many Advent contacts right now, but we are going to... Oh, I can't activate these supplies without revealing Dragonova. So I'm going to get my soldiers into position before I actually trigger this. And I think I may have just spotted some more stuff yet. Oh, shit! Not how I wanted to blow my cover. But... damn.
We're picking up a steady signal from the transponder. Firebrand is en route to make the pickup.
I just realized if I mark these supplies, then my cover's gonna disappear. There are no Advent around, so it's not a big deal. Oh, it's kind of a big deal. I shouldn't have done that. Shit. Oh gosh, I shouldn't have done that. I should have waited. I was getting excited. Oh no. All right, it's not the end of the world because we have our sharpshooter in position to shoot at some of these targets. But damn, that was an amateur mistake. Ah well, let's get some headshots. We've got a 100% chance to hit these guys, so it's going to be easy cleanup. And our sniper rifle is strong enough to guarantee at least a couple of these kills. We'll take out the 3 health ones first, and then we'll move on to the 5 health target. There is not a 100% chance we'll kill the 5 health target, but the chances are still pretty good. Nice. Alright, so now because of my amateur mistake, we're gonna probably get Lucifer smacked by that Lost over there, but we can at the very least try to catch this enemy in an Overwatch. So I'm gonna grapple on top of the building, or on top of this structure, whatever it is. I guess it's a sort of a scaffolding. And I'm going to start taking some shots and then go on Overwatch. Of course, we are going to activate a couple more zombies. I know I still shouldn't call them zombies because they are technically not zombies, but, you know, they're basically zombies. Okay, so a lot of stuff just happened, and most of it was pretty bad. But we might be able to weasel our way out of a relatively dire situation. We've got a couple of Advent crates have been marked by the enemy, so those are going to get taken away. There's not really a safe way that I can counter the mark. What you can do in this mission is if Advent marks the crates to take away, I can rush over and put my own mark on it, or essentially disable their transmitter so that we can claim the supplies. But I'm not going to do that because there's a Muton and an Advent mech in the way. So what I am going to do is deal with them. And the best way that I know how to deal with a Muton is to blow it up. Now, there's no way we can... we're most likely not going to be able to kill this thing in one turn unless we get a really nice stroke of good luck. So let's see if we can make this happen. I'm going to start off by putting Dragonova back into Shadow Concealment. So that's step number 1. Actually, you know what? I can kill this Muton in one turn. And I think that's what I'm going to do because I'm not in the mood to deal with any shenanigans. I'm going to throw out my Shrapnel Claymore for step number 1. And Oh, I didn't even see that stun lancer down there, so I'm gonna get them all caught in this radius. So that's a lot of damage that's gonna go out. And then the next step of the plan is going to be to remote start this propane tank. Now, this propane tank does not have a huge radius, but you see that little tile right there that I'm mousing over? The claymore is there. And guess what's gonna happen when I blow up the propane tank? The claymore is gonna blow up too. Collateral damage. And the Lost are coming. Now, I do understand that this was a high-risk maneuver, but I think it was worth it. I really think it was worth it. So here's what we're gonna do to wrap this up. We're gonna pull Roland back because he actually took a pretty serious beating on the last turn. But before we do that, we're gonna take some shots at this Advent mech, see if we can whittle it down a bit, because that thing is gonna cause us some problems. Shit, here we go. Here come the shenanigans. We are in a very tight spot right now. The worst part about the situation we're in is that there's not much we can do about it. There aren't many good options that we have right now. And actually, I think I may have accidentally gotten Dragonova killed. We'll find out soon enough, but I may have fucked up. Oh gosh. Well, yeah, we about to find out if I messed up. So here we go. Advent's coming in to pick up some of their crates, so that is a little bit of our supplies lost. But again, you gotta weigh the pros and the cons in missions like these. These are actually significantly more difficult than the standard supply raid missions because it's much more likely that you're not gonna get the maximum reward from it. But it's okay. I've had my coffee. I can deal with a little bit of a negative. All right, so here comes the mech. It's jumping off the building. It's getting caught in our Overwatch, but it is going to only do 1 damage because the shot missed, and I do have a stock on the gun. Looks like the mech went for a sprint, so it's not going to take any shots at us, so that is good, but I think he may have line of sighted our sharpshooter, so that is not good. And my goodness, that is a lot of freaking zombies. And as expected, Dragonova got spotted, but the zombies are not going to try and smack her. They already set their sights on the rest of my squad, so I don't have to worry too much about that. Whew, boy, this is nerve-wracking now. This is nerve-wracking. Just all right. I gotta channel the coffee power right now. I gotta come up with a plan because this is actually terrible. What have I done? What have I done? I'm in lost infested territory and I'm lobbing grenades around like a freaking maniac. What have I done? Oh my goodness gracious. Can I just leave? Can I just is the mech the last Advent on the map? Because I feel like that's what I have to find out. All right, let's take this thing down. All right, so we're going to make use of the bullpup in this situation. We're going to double tap him. We're going to shoot him once. We got an 84% chance to hit. Pat, pat, pat. I'm going to do 1 damage because of that armor. We're zeroing in. That is increasing our hit chance to 94%. And it's also giving us a 10% chance to crit, which is still not a lot. But it's still something. And we need as much damage as we can get. And we are actually going to get a critical hit. There was a very low chance that was going to work. But it worked. I suppose Dragonova is probably the best one to take the kill shot because she can maneuver the farthest away from the Lost. Because I do have a plan to get out of this situation relatively unscathed. So I'm going to take this shot. There is a 4% chance that I'm going to be very upset. But my goodness, I don't think that's going to happen. So there we go. We killed the mech. And what we can do is the Lost cannot jump on top of buildings. So if we plug up the only place where they can climb to the top of a building, then they're going to get stuck. So we're going to plug up one of the 2 places that the Lost can climb up, and then they can't smack us. And then we're going to plug up the second place where they can climb up, and then we will be completely protected from the zombies. We just have to make sure that Dragonova gets here as quickly as possible, so she doesn't get completely mauled. Oh gosh, if I was Dragonova in this situation, I would be quite literally crapping in my pants. So we're gonna run her really far over. Actually, you know, we gotta pick up this loot. We didn't kill this thing and see some loot drop just so we could leave it for the zombies. We gotta grab that. Boom. What's he gonna give us? An expanded magazine. Not the greatest item, but it's something. So we got that. And now what we can do to keep Dragonova safe is just move her on top of this building, or on top of this this container. And from here, although she is not in cover at all, we don't have any advent nearby, and we're really not going to make away with a lot of supplies on this one because the Lost Swarm is causing us too much grief at the moment. So it's a bit unfortunate that it's wound up like this, but it is what it is. So let's start getting some headshots. You know what's kind of cool? This is like a proper horror movie right now. Like we're legitimately cowering in fear of the zombies on top of a structure that they can't climb up. This is really unfortunate that we're losing so many supplies, but I mean, at the very least, we're getting a kind of cool story out of this. And another Lost Swarm is coming out of nowhere. Nice. This is gonna be a minute, so I'm just gonna fast forward through a lot of this because we're gonna be here for a little while. You know, I feel kind of bad for exploiting the Lost weakness in that they cannot jump on top of structures, but to be perfectly honest, my entire squad would have died if they couldn't. And it's partly because of the strategy that I'm going for. If I wasn't going for the psionic operatives, then I would have magnetic weapons at this point or predator armor, so I would feel much more confident about taking on enemies like the Muton without dealing with without having to use explosives and remote start and all that kind of stuff. But because my tech is a little bit behind the curve as far as my weapons are concerned, then I have to resort to I guess you can call them dirty tactics. But realistically, it's necessary. From point blank, we got an 88% chance to hit this guy. I feel like that's good enough. So yeah, the psionic operative thing though, it's a really strong strategy because psionic operatives, they become arguably the strongest soldier type in the game once they get leveled up, but they're an investment. They take time to actually get leveled up. So it's an investment that I'm willing to make, and it's one that I think is going to pay off. It's one that I really hope is going to pay off in the long run. But until we actually get a fully leveled up psionic operative that can just run around and mind control even the strongest enemies, we're going to be hurting a little bit. But it's okay. It's okay. So I'm going to finally move Brian Arnold off of the roof so we can start dealing with the Lost that are below us and finally clear out the remaining Advent soldiers. So we've been in this position for long enough. I think it's time we grow a pair of cojones and deal with our enemy. We're going to use the Shadowfall ability on this Lost. This is a special ability that comes with the Shadowkeeper pistol. When you kill a target, it is supposed to put you in concealment. There we go. So when you kill a target with the Shadowkeeper pistol and the Shadowfall ability, it puts you back into concealment, and that is a pretty damn cool ability if you ask me. And there we go. We've got our eyes on one more Lost. He is not a guaranteed kill, regardless of how we decide to hit him. And I've got half a heart to run away from this guy because I feel that he is going to run up to Lucifer and smack him and kill him. But I'm going to take the shot. Oh, thank goodness. But the bright side, if there is a bright side, is that we have a unit back in concealment now. So we're going to use our sharpshooter to scout around a little bit. Normally this is Dragonova's job, but she already used both of her charges of, or both of her uses of shadow. So she's out in the open, there's nothing she can do.
That's the last of the supply crates in this area. Menace 1-5, you're clear for evac. We got what we came for, so don't take any unnecessary chances out there.
What Central Officer Bradford just said is not entirely true. If you do not kill all of the remaining hostiles on the mission, you do not get to keep the supplies that you marked. And I made a decision as soon as I saw another swarm of Lost running towards my soldiers that I was just going to leave and not worry about it. So we're not going to collect any supplies from this. The only thing we're going to go home with is the expanded magazine that we got from the piece of loot. The main reason I did this is because I was not feeling confident in my ability to safely deal with another pack of enemies that could have been something completely ridiculous like triple mutons or triple stun lances, just something crazy. So I left. We didn't have much to show for it, but at the end of it all, we got a little bit of experience for our Reaper, and our other soldiers got some experience as well. So it's not a total loss, but it is a bit of a disappointment. But these are the kind of decisions you have to make when you're playing XCOM 2. You have to weigh the pros and cons of potentially losing a soldier or getting a very small amount of extra supplies and alloys. Because we only managed to actually tag 2 crates, we wouldn't have gotten that much anyway. So it's pretty unfortunate that things happen this way, but everybody survived, so thumbs up for me. With all of that said, the name of the game is XCOM 2, the name of the channel is iBluairJgR Gaming for Comedy. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.